It's only one. Mose.
What's good and what up, y'all? It's your brother SamAnt here at Viral Hip Hop News. Y'all already know, do me a favor, family. Go up top and hit that like button. Real quick before we start the content, it's a little different than how I do it. I'm on vacay right now out in Florida, enjoying my time. Gonna get the podcast popping with God and I, obviously, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. But we got to get some sound together, make sure we get some troubleshooting done. So before we do that, I just wanted to knock out some videos before I got going. Obviously, we seen some major breaking news come in last night by way of Chicago. Our man R. Kelly, some of y'all can't stand him, but he was arrested last night in Chicago on federal child pornography charges. He faces New York City indictments also. I'm going to read a little bit by way of NBC New York, and then I'll give my perspective. All right, here we go. He was arrested, R. Kelly, on federal sex charges Thursday night, nearly 5 months after he was released on bail for additional sexual abuse charges brought by Illinois prosecutors. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office said. Now, the 52-year-old was arrested in Chicago by Homeland Security investigations agents and NYPD Public Safety Task Force officials told NBC News 4. R. Kelly had stepped out for a smoke and to walk his dog when he was taken into custody around 7 p.m. local time, a law enforcement source familiar with the case said. He was being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, according to the Federal Prisons Bureau website. There are separate federal indictments filed in both Chicago and Brooklyn, according to a senior law enforcement official. In court appearance in Chicago could come later Friday. It is expected he will ultimately be brought to New York to face additional charges. Now, a 13-count indictment was handed down early Thursday in federal court for the Northern District of Illinois and includes charges of child pornography, enticement of a minor, and obstruction of justice. U.S. Attorney spokesman Joseph Fitzpatrick told the Associated Press. Federal prosecutors for the Eastern District of New York are expected to unveil Friday additional charges in the case. Spokesperson for the NYPD and Homeland Security investigations declined to comment on the arrest. Calls to the U.S. Attorney in Brooklyn were not immediately returned. Now, the singer's crisis manager, Daryl Johnson, said his legal team was expecting the indictment to happen, but he does not know what the charges are yet. R. Kelly, whose legal name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, was in high spirit as he awaits his trial, according to Johnson. Mr. Kelly has declared his innocence from day one, says Johnson, who says he has been working with the R&B star for 6 months. I've seen nothing, and I do mean nothing, that would lead to any type of guilt. Now, Andrea Kelly, the singer's ex-wife, had no comment following the arrest. Her rep said. Now, we've obviously done tons of videos on R. Kelly, countless videos giving our opinion, giving our perspective, whether or not this could be a setup, whether or not he did it or not. Should we cancel his music? Should we cancel R. Kelly? Everything. And I think at this point, no matter whether or not he's guilty or not, our opinions, no matter if you're on his side or against him, ultimately aren't going to change no matter what the verdict is. But what this does mean for R. Kelly is now there's a trial. And now for the people that are on the fence on whether or not, I mean, they rock with R. Kelly, but they don't condone any of the allegations that are on his head. And if he is guilty of it, they will cancel him. I mean, for those people who are on the fence on what to do, because at the end of the day, nobody knows. At the end of the day, nobody knows. It was a tape that came out years ago. People could speculate that was R. Kelly. People could think that was R. Kelly, whether you do or you don't. He was found innocent of that charge. We all remember the Aaliyah situation, him dating a minor, and the illegal marriage license and all that shit. And then you got these women who are of age claiming that he's doing inappropriate sexual acts, putting things in houses. We all know the shit that was going down. All heard the perspective that we had in regards to each situation because they're different. I mean, him having multiple women of age in his home is not a crime. It may be taboo to some people. Some people may not like it. Some people may be offended by it. But at the end of the day, if there's multiple women in this house and they're of age and they're being in there and they're compliant and they want to be there, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what's going on in the house. If there's any type of abuse or anything, that's another story. But multiple women being in this house, being in this home, there's nothing wrong with that. We have a lot of different men throughout time who have been regarded and recognized and revered for doing the same thing, i.e. Hugh Hefner. Now, when you talk about underage children, child pornography, and things of that nature, that's the most disgusting and vile thing that you can do. And if that, in fact, was something that R. Kelly did, then he needs to be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. You can't mess with children by any stretch of the imagination. You just can't do it. There's other people in the news right now getting hit up for some nasty child shit too. That's very, very uncalled for. So let's just keep this very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's make sure everything is even. Let's make sure we give the same energy to everybody going through this heinous crime, because it doesn't matter what fucking color you are. It doesn't matter what age, what religion, what sex. If you do anything to compromise a child's innocence, you deserve to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So we'll see what happens with this R. Kelly situation as it goes on further. Can't wait to talk to old God about this. Trying to get the podcast up and popping today. We can see if we can get the sound rocking. Had a little bit of a problem yesterday, but we're going to make sure we get that right for you guys and give you episode 191 of the podcast. Very excited to do so. Like you say, got my equipment, everything rocking. So we damn sure going to make this work, man. So before I get out of here, real quick, like I said, R. Kelly was indicted early or late Thursday evening in Chicago on child pornography, and he also faces indictments in New York City. We will hear more news coming out today, and as the days go on, I'm sure I'll be broadcasting and giving you the play-by-play on what's going on with R. Kelly. Wanted to drop something real quick and talk about Lil Wayne real quick. I've seen something about Lil Wayne. Let me grab my phone. Excuse me for a second, and let me talk about this Lil Wayne situation. Now, let me see. All right, so Lil Wayne was hitting the road with a popular punk group, Blink-182. He was talking about that earlier in the year. Some people were perplexed as to how the two acts would fare on the road together. However, considering Wayne is a fixture in alternative skate culture, it would be far-fetched to think that Lil Wayne admirers wouldn't enjoy a Blink-182 concert. They were talking about that. We all know Lil Wayne was in the skate culture. That shit makes sense. The Cold Lining tour kicked off at the end of June in Ohio, and just in a few weeks, there are reports from fans that this tour may not be Wayne's cup of tea. On Thursday, the tour landed in Bristol, Virginia,